I now have the great pleasure to introduce to you our commencement speaker, Madhuri Shekar. Yes. Madhuri Shekar is an award-winning playwright, screenwriter, and an alumna of the USC School of Dramatic Arts MFA in Dramatic Writing program. Her plays include House of Joy, Queen, A Nice Indian Boy, In Love and Warcraft, and Antigone presented by the Girls of St. Catherine's, among others. Her work has been developed or showcased at theaters across the country, including Center Theater Group, the Old Globe, and the Kennedy Center. And she was one of the first recipients of Audible's new commissioning program for emerging playwrights. She served as a staff writer on HBO's The Nevers and wrote the screenplay for the upcoming feature film, Sister Act 3. It was recently announced that she will adapt the acclaimed novel, The Immortal King Rao, into a TV series for which she will serve as an executive producer. Please join me in welcoming Madhuri Shekar.
Hi, everyone. I'm going to unfold my speech. Gosh, I'm so profoundly honored to be here today. It still feels a little surreal. This is such an important day, a recognition, a celebration of the huge amount of work that you have done for your art and for each other over the past 3 years. I'm so proud of you and still a little confused as to why I'm here. I feel like I was just sitting where you are, like I was just here. You know, when I graduated, David Henry Hwang was our commencement speaker. Tony, Obie, Grammy Award-winning, path-breaking, trailblazing theatrical luminary, David Henry Hwang. You got me. But then when I thought about it, when I thought about his speech, I realized I don't remember a single thing he said. What I do remember is how he made me feel. I remember that I felt like I was graduating into a world that had room for me. It was the same feeling I had when I first met Valina, when I got to know Paula and Oliver and Louise. Until then, I had no idea that people like me could even do this. So maybe that's what I can offer you today. I'm here. I work as a writer. I support my family as a writer. I have a family. I have 2 unbelievable little boys and a husband who's my favorite person to sit on a couch with. Of course, the story is more complicated. Of course, your journey will be different than mine, but there's room for all of us. And here's the thing I've learned since I graduated. We make that room. It's not given to us. We carve it out. We hold the seat, we hold the door. We build the ladder over the wall, and then we protect the ladder until we can demolish the goddamn wall. We make room. I want to talk a little bit about the writer's strike that's going on right now. Back in March, I was sitting in a packed hall in New York City with hundreds of other screenwriters and TV writers, and most delightfully, several other playwrights. Our union leadership took us through the rapid and devastating decimation of our industry, the way in which loopholes have been exploited to devalue our work, to extract from us free labor in bad faith, and to treat us, not just our work, but us, human beings, as disposable cogs in a machine. It made me furious. As I saw the charts of how much writers struggle to make a living wage when they are the foundation of one of the most powerful and profitable industries in the world, I thought to myself, but wait, this is happening everywhere. This is the story of the millennial generation. This is the shit show that Gen Z is inheriting. And this is happening to most careers, from Starbucks baristas to graduate teaching assistants to healthcare workers. It is extractive capitalism, short-sighted, self-destructive. And until recently, I felt like it was seemingly inevitable, but now I know that it's not. Because we have the power to say enough. And we are demonstrating that right now. Being part of this labor movement, being part of this strike, is the most inspiring and hopeful moment of my career, possibly even my life. I have lost so much sleep over the past few years about the world that I have brought my sons into. But right now, thousands of union workers across Los Angeles, New York, and Chicago, not just WGA, Teamsters, hospitality workers, SAG-AFTRA, IATSE, and more, they are taking a stand and refusing to cross picket lines. A better world is happening, and we are all of us here, we are a part of it. Of course, this moment didn't happen overnight. We have the power to strike because of decades of sacrifice by writers and artists who came before us. But in a moment when the world feels so bleak, this is a reminder that nothing is inevitable, that not only can we take care of each other, we really want to. We really, really want to. If you haven't joined us on the picket lines yet, please do. Everyone is welcome, and you will feel what I'm talking about. You'll feel it. I want to talk a little bit about American theater. My work in TV and film allows me to earn a living as a writer. It gives me and my family health insurance. But theater, playwriting, is what nourishes my soul and always has. Nothing gives me the particular kind of joy as the first day in a rehearsal room for a new play. Without theater, my mental health suffers terribly, and the past few years offered concrete proof of that. It is because of my devotion to theater that I felt a profound disillusionment with the industry in 2020 and 2021, to the point where I almost walked away entirely. At the beginning of the pandemic, when everything shut down and the weeks stretched into months, I saw my friends lose their work, lose their livelihoods, with no indication of when it would return. Playwrights have never learned to rely on theater as a way to earn a living. It's just the way it's set up. But that's not true for actors, directors, stage managers, designers, technicians, people who work several shows a year, often traveling from stage to stage. Almost overnight, their livelihoods disappeared. And I waited with naive hope for the theater institutions, the big theater companies, to do something about it, to take care of their artists. I waited for them to lobby Congress, to press their boards, their funders, to take some sort of collective action to help the artists who were going without work. They did lobby Congress, but only to save their property. The Save Our Stages Act was successfully passed as a lifeline for shuttered venues, a $15 billion packages to help arts and music venues stay afloat during the shutdown, but nothing for the artists. I know this is complicated. I know. I know how embattled and impossible it can be to run a theater company. I know and love many of the arts leaders who were desperately trying their best during a very dark time. But it was just a clarifying moment that showed me the true priorities of these institutions. I felt betrayed, but in a strange way, I also felt empowered, because I realized that I wasn't lucky to get my plays produced by these theater companies. I needed to be grateful. They were lucky that despite everything, I was still writing. I realized that I do not owe institutions my loyalty. I only owe it to my fellow artists. Seeking prestige or validation from institutions made no sense to me anymore. Theater is a precious gift. I decided that every project I would take on would be only for audiences that I cared deeply about. Children, or people like my parents, or people who can't afford to see theater. Those are the people I care about. And I wanted to make art for and with artists that I loved. Nothing else really matters. And I get that not everyone gets to make this choice, not everyone can afford to. But I want to say this, especially to the writers in the room, especially to any artist, when you get a little bit of power in the rooms that we go into, let's really do what we can, whenever we can, to take care of each other. One of the greatest rewards of an MFA program like this are the relationships that you make with each other in the trenches. Sure, it might be trauma bonding, but it's real. I hope you continue to lean on each other and prioritize each other as you build your careers. I am excited to welcome you into the scary, difficult, and exhilarating next phase of your lives. It must be terrifying to graduate into a shutdown of the entertainment industry, like 3 years after the last one. So I will leave you with advice from someone far wiser than me and who typically isn't even here today, Luis Alfaro. When we were leaving school, he told us that in the long fallow days of our careers, when nothing seems to be happening, when nothing seems to be going our way, like when you don't know how to keep going, he said, do one thing for yourself, one thing for your community, and one thing for your art. Every day, one thing for yourself, one thing for your community, and one thing for your art. So I have to admit, I've never actually been able to do this myself. It's a good day for me if I finish my water bottle, but it is a mantra that has helped me on my lowest days. And if you haven't heard it from Luis himself, I offer it to you. One thing for yourself, one thing for your community, one thing for your art. And here's a tip. I find that if I do something for my art, it is the best thing I could do for myself. I'm so proud of you. My email is madhurishekar@me.com. If there's anything I can help with down the line, just reach out. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. And congratulations, yay!